Oh boy. Say it with me now. This fucking team. Oh man. Um uh Just got an interesting text. Yeah. How about those Knicks? Talk about the most infuriating, just cardiac event inducing, stressful, mind boggling at times, but also at times very easy to love and very easy to root for. 7-4 team. It almost, I almost feel like I'm lying by saying that they're 7-4. This does not feel like a team that is 7-4. Nothing about this team feels like they're 7-4. Including their best player. Their best player doesn't feel like a guy who is the best player on a 7-4 team, and yet he is. And we're going to talk a lot about him because Julius Randle, he saved their ass tonight. I'm not completely. So here's the thing. Here's the thing tonight. Through, I would say, 3 quarters, I was prepared to come on here and say, almost regardless of what happened in the fourth, and say this was a game that I thought Julius Randle was the most. The way he played bothered me more than at any time this season. And by the way, for any first timers here, I have gotten myself already into some hot water this year, going over the top defending Julius Randle against people who have not been too happy with his play. And I was prepared to come on here and say that he had played, in my estimation, the game that I was least pleased with, because more than any other game this season, he was going to the ISO so much. I counted 6 in the first quarter. I thought 1 came in the flow of the offense, and there were 5 that were just straight like, clear out, let me get a shot. I counted 3 more in the second quarter. And then I lost count in the third quarter. Going into the fourth, and then he had the fourth quarter that he had. And Julius Randle, again, for anybody who may have missed his stat line, finished with 30, definitely got 30 points, and 10 rebounds. I think he had 3 or 4 assists. And he was on fire in the fourth quarter. He was amazing. He made every big shot for a team that needed him to make every big shot. And it's tempting for anybody to say, well, if the offense was less stagnant and there were fewer ISOs initially, maybe he wouldn't have needed to save their bacon in the fourth quarter with those shots. And you know what? I'm not going to dismiss that as insane, out of hand. But this is a team right now with a starting point guard who is struggling. The 3-point shot has for the moment at least abandoned Kemba. With the one exception late in the game, which was great. He's not really getting to the rim. RJ has now had 2 straight rough games. I couldn't believe it when he missed that last look at the rim. I mean, he's been so good at the rim all year long. And tonight was not. And he's in a bit of a shooting slump right now, which is fine. He's 21. It happens. I'm not worried. Nobody should be worried about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is great and is going to be great. He's just in a bit of a slump right now. Derrick Rose, normally amazing, plus $1 million in the first half. Didn't really have it going on offense in the second half. Quickly had a few moments we're going to talk about quickly. We'll certainly talk about Obi Toppin. But at the end of the day, generally in the NBA, you are as good, or you will go as far as your best player takes you. And Julius Randle is still, despite what RJ made us maybe question for a little while there, Julius Randle is still the next best player. And he could still do things, and he could still make shots that there's no one else on the team who could make. And Is it okay to be frustrated about the fact that this offense, which, by the way, I know they were dog shit tonight, but they still came into tonight as the 4th-ranked offense in basketball. A lot of that maybe was from some early unsustainable shooting. They're not hitting threes anymore. Not really concerned about it. I actually like the fact that they took a bunch of threes tonight, even though they didn't go down. I thought most of the threes were really good. They just missed them. Only scored 103 points tonight. Does this offense have another level to reach? Of course, I think they have another level to reach. I think there is some more stuff that they could be doing where, we know it when we see an offense that is firing on all cylinders. Even last year's version had moments. They were number 1 offense in the league for like a 3 or 4 week stretch. They had moments where they looked like they were firing also. You know it when you see it. We haven't seen it yet. They are not an offense that is greater than the sum of their parts right now. They are an offense that's a little bit less than the sum of their parts right now. And that's certainly not all on Randle. That's on the collective unit. And they will figure it out. It's been 11 games. Tom Thibodeau is a very good coach, and they have very good players. I wanted to bring that up because clearly right now they haven't gotten there yet. And they needed Julius Randle tonight. And Julius Randle came through. And if they didn't have Julius Randle and Julius Randle didn't come through, they would not have won this game. Because, that Sixer team, man, I thought it before the game started. You put a bunch of shooters around a guy like Drummond, who, say what you want about Drummond. I've said a lot of bad shit about Drummond. He still could do the couple of things that could give teams problems if he just concentrates on doing those things instead of tries to be a clown out there. And he was on point tonight. So you put a bunch of shooters around guys, and guys are making shots. Fucking Georges Niang, Furkan Korkmaz, Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton. Like, these guys are NBA players. They're like 4th, 5th, 6th men, but they're NBA players. And here's the dirty little secret. And this is the last thing I'm going to say before I get to the super chat. I think we need to get out of this mindset, and I'm in the mindset, and I think collectively as a fan base we're in this mindset, that we have somehow, as an organization, leveled up above where we were last year, which is to say, last year we were a team with 1 all-star who was playing above his head and a bunch of like scrappy Cloy, role players who fit in their roles and they executed their roles really well. And then the offseason came. And okay, RJ Barrett's now in year 3. And Kemba Walker was an all-star 2 years ago. And Evan Fournier, is a guy who was paid almost $20 million a year to come in here and do his thing. And Obi's in year 2, and Quickly's in year 2, and Derrick Rose is back, and all of this stuff. They are still, at their core, a scrappy team with one guy who's playing way above his head. Because RJ, I think, as we're seeing right now, RJ's not ready to be an all-star yet. Maybe he'll make me eat my words. I have my friend the Crow up there, courtesy of my buddy Yash. I haven't brought him down yet because I'm waiting for a really good RJ game. I've already eaten a lot of crow on RJ. Maybe I'll eat some more. I don't think he's there yet. RJ's having a really nice year, a great year, and he's been their best player at times for more than Randle's been their best player. But as we're seeing right now, he's not all the way there yet. You're still going to have nights like this where, he misses his threes, he misses some shots around the rim. He's not really creating yet. Kemba's not that Kemba anymore. And I don't mean that, I don't say that to be mean. I just say that to just point out the truth. Fournier is going to do Fournier things, but ultimately on a good team, Fournier is going to be exactly what he is, which is like a 4th guy, who gives and takes a little bit. Mostly good, some bad. And then on and on and on down the roster. This is still a team that if they want to do something, in terms of what some members of this fan base thinks that they are capable of doing, is going to have to outkick their coverage, and they are going to need to play above their heads. And that does mean, at the end of the day, defense is going to need to be their calling card. And what was nice to see about tonight, with some exceptions, is I thought they defended really well. And that was the thing that I was most worried about coming into tonight, playing a team without Embiid. Were they going to give that extra effort on defense? And I thought, again, with some exceptions, I thought they did that. As my daughter is apparently not happy with I don't know. She's not happy with something. She's 8 months old. She's just not happy sometimes. So, I just wanted to make that final point because I think once we kind of maybe, and I'm not saying this team still can't be, get home court advantage and win however many games you want to say that they're going to win. But that would, I think once we go back to the expectation of like, hey, I don't care who we're playing tonight. We have to fight our asses off to win this game. I think we maybe got thrown off that scent early. And I think it would be good for the sanity of all of us if we just settled back into that line of thinking, like, you know what? At the end of the day, the Knicks need to play really hard, and the Knicks need to play really well, and the Knicks need to make some shots if they're going to beat teams. Would you like it to be a little bit easier against a team like this with missing the guys that they're missing? Absolutely. It should have been easier. And they didn't play as well as they could have played because they missed a lot of threes. And they also did some dumb shit. But we'll talk about that. But for the most part, a win is a win. 7-4 is 7-4. And I'll read the final Julius Randle stat line: 31 points, 12 rebounds, 5 of 10 from deep, 3 assists. It is what it is. And Julius Randle played like an all-star tonight. So kudos to him. All right. Got a lot of comments already in the super chat. Let's check it out. Here we go. First one, C. Fagan, 15-17. I find myself wanting RJ to shoot every possession because I want him to break out so bad, LMFAO. For real, though, shout out to King Julius, and let's go Knicks. Yeah, I don't, look, again, RJ's 21. And he's 21, and we don't have to go over the things that RJ is not blessed with. He's not blessed with, like, supernatural, shot creation ability. But he's blessed with other things, and that's why we love RJ. He'll be fine. He had a rough game. He has a rough couple games. The threes are going to fall. He'll be fine around the rim. I still love his approach. He had a tough matchup tonight also on defense with Korkmaz. Korkmaz is tricky, and he's a good player. Robert Cross, Julius Randle is fixed now. 53 wins. You know what? Julius Randle. Actually, this is the one point I wanted to make before about Julius. Let me read CT Pittman's super chat comment. What's up, CT? I have a love-hate relationship with Julius, as we all do. Love his offense, except ISO, and hate his defense at times. I sent out a special bonus newsletter earlier today in the middle of the day because I went back and I rewatched the tape as I grabbed my juice because I am still a little parched. And the thing about Randle is, like, his defense is never bad. It's either he's trying full bore or he's not really giving it max effort. And I guess if you want to say that that's bad defense, sure, that's fine. But like he saved our ass in the fourth quarter, and I was ready to fucking tear him to shreds in this post game. And I'll mention it now when he didn't get up on that Niang 3. Like, you have to get up on that. That cut the lead to 1. Granted, he came back and he saved their ass with some shots down the other end, but, like, that's the shit that drives you nuts. And that was not an isolated incident. There were other incidents like that tonight. And what I wrote about today is, like, he kind of goes about defense like most stars go about their defense, which is you take some plays off. And he didn't do that as much last year. I thought he really brought it last year on defense more consistently than he has this season. I hope he gets back to that. And if that means playing less minutes in favor of Obi Toppin, yes, we will talk about it. So be it. But the thing about Randle in terms of his offense, and what I'm starting to realize is, like, just, this is who Randle is. I keep waiting to see a version of him that is, like, blends better with the Knicks' new pieces. And I just feel like Randle, at the end of the day, might just be Melo. I'm not saying he's as good as Melo. I'm not saying that. But in terms of, like, Melo wanted to go be Melo. The difference between Melo and Randle is Randle now for 2 seasons in a row has already been more of a facilitator than Carmelo Anthony ever was. And I think the best version of Julius Randle is when he takes and hits just enough tough shots to keep defenses honest. But he also is really spraying it around. And I thought he had some really nice passes tonight on shots that didn't go down, 3-pointers that didn't go down. One RJ corner 3 went, another one didn't. He had some other ones. But that's what Randle is. Is that the perfect player? Of course not. Is it the best player on a championship team? No, it's not. But it's the best player we got right now. And the question will be, how well is he able to blend maybe when they get a real talent upgrade down the line? We'll see. Robert McGinley, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 26 minutes per game. 10 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 23 minutes per game. Oh, I see where this is going. Player A is Kemba. Player B is Elf last year. Clearly, Kemba's better, but has to start playing like it. Please don't ever compare Kemba Walker to Elfrid Payton again. I almost vomited in my mouth a little bit just now. Kemba Walker, I know he's slumping from deep right now, but just by being someone who could hit a three-pointer adds a dimension to the offense that they didn't have last year. I know everybody seems to want to the fact that the Knicks have a top 5 offense. It's been 11 games, not nothing. Those Kemba threes didn't disappear. I know he's slumping right now, but he's still hitting whatever he's hitting, 40 some odd % from deep. He'll hit threes again. Like that by itself is worth its weight in gold over Shithead, who's playing in Phoenix right now. And I don't want to hear about the defense because I watched Elfrid Payton on defense last year, and he was not good. He tried hard. And, he was a bigger guard, a little bit bigger, so, guys couldn't take advantage of him by bringing him down low. And, yes, they could do that with Kemba occasionally. Do I feel like that's the thing that's holding this defense back? No, I don't. Kemba's going to be fine. Whether the question about Kemba is he ever going to be able to get the ability back to break guys down on the perimeter and drive the lane and do some damage when he gets there. And you know what? Maybe that's gone. And if that's gone and he's a spot-up point guard who, can occasionally take advantage of a mismatch or whatever the case may be, and he plays, 20 minutes a night, that's still valuable. It's just maybe not the guy that we thought we were getting. It doesn't mean you put him in the same sense as Elfrid Payton. Warzone Chronicles. Randle bailed out Tibbs tonight for sure. Tibbs is genuinely alarming me with his rotations and minutes distribution. Look, people, I don't – what the fuck do you want the man to do? The man just won Coach of the Year. We have to get off of this as a fan base because we sound like fucking assholes. We sound like assholes with this stuff. And I know I'm a Tibbs apologist. But, go around to any fan base in the league. Every fan base does this shit where they complain about their coach and minutes and rotations, and no one's happy with their coach. You know who's happy with their coach? Maybe Utah, who has a flawless system in what they've instilled there with shooters and Mitchell and Gobert and the defense and the whole thing. And you know what? I bet you there were fans bitching and moaning about Quinn Snyder after they lost to Orlando the other night. The man knows what he's doing. He sees things that we don't see. I know we want to see the guys we want to see more. And we will always second guess when things don't go well. And guess what? Things are always going to not go well because it's tough to win games in the NBA when you don't have superstar talent. And so when things don't go well, the inevitable, reaction is, oh, the guy making the decisions must have done something wrong. When the reality is the Knicks just have a collection of players who aren't particularly great. It's a good collection of players. It's a nice collection of players, but it's an imperfect collection of players. I wasn't going to read this, but I will now. So JB, shout out to JB, the creator of Knicks Film School, was at the game tonight in Philly. And he texted me right after the game. Don't know if they caught it on TV, but on a possession before Tibbs pulled Obi the last time, he was very upset with something Obi did on offense, like he missed a play or something. He then immediately calls for Taj, and Obi was visibly upset on the bench. So, again, I don't know if this is what you're referring to in terms of the rotations or whatever. That's what the flavor of the moment seems to be. Obi needs to get more time. Obi got taken advantage of on the defense a couple times tonight, and it hurt them. Those buckets that the Sixers scored when Obi was defending, whoever the fuck he was defending, and they took him into the paint and they scored, those count too. I get that he's in good position, but sometimes, the guy's just not there yet. He's a solid NBA defender. I think he's going to be a better NBA defender in time. But, this stuff with the tip stuff, you just got to stop it, guys. I don't know what else to say. It's really frustrating because we are supposed to be the smarter fan base. And we're supposed to be the fan base that doesn't overreact. Anyway, The Flying Machine Collective. The game showed me that we need good Quickly minutes. Yes, Quickly was the big. I said it multiple times last year. I thought he was their second most important player at times last year. Certainly the games he played well in, he was their second most important player. He gives them a spark that nobody else on the team gives them, and I don't think they win this game without Emmanuel Quickly. So shout out to Quick. Ryan Menzies. I don't know if I can handle 71 more games with anxiety like this. LOL. Yeah, you and me both. So game 11, I'm already yelling at the super chat. Lunis, am I right? Jules and IQ told online haters to touch some grass. What does that mean? Touch some grass. I don't know what that means. But yeah, sure. I guess they did. Shout out to you. Let me go back up. And shout out, by the way, we have over 600 people in here on a Monday night. We're almost at 100 likes. Feel free to gently tap your like button if you're enjoying my beratement here. Leo GM, I was watching the Philly live stream. Announcers kept saying how there were too many Knicks fans in the arena. Who let them in here? Let's go Knicks. Yeah, no, we traveled well. Like I said, JB's at the game, or was at the game. He sent me a video from earlier, and just a ton of Knicks fans in his section. So good to see. D Zilla, big shot, Julius. We here, we back. Yeah, I mean, you got to hit him, right? He had to. If he didn't hit those shots, he'd be singing a different tune. But hey, listen, it's a make or miss league. He made the shots. Give the man credit. Hush Zoo. RJ needs to get choke slammed. Choke slammed through a flaming table, and maybe, just maybe, the refs will give half a breath into a whistle call. RJ could get a better whistle. I still think there's more that he could be doing to, I don't know if I want to say draw the contact. I don't know if I want to say sell the contact. I think it's somewhere in between drawing and selling the contact. But when RJ does go to the line, you know it. Or in terms of the plays that get him to the line, you know it when you see it. And there's no doubt about it. And then there's plays that he leaves some doubt in the refs' minds, and he can't leave any doubt. Is that fair? Probably not. But, I think he could be better. And I think he will get to the point where he gets, close to 8 free throws a game. Harry Donut, you're the man. Always appreciate you coming in here and showing your support. Matthew Schwartz, 2 first-round picks and quickly for Cole Anthony. Why not? Look, shout out to Cole Anthony. Why not? Because I want my guy. I want Emmanuel Quickly. I know Cole's having a really nice year for Orlando, and I'm very happy for him. He's scoring a bunch of points on a team that has absolutely nobody on it. Yes, they've won some games, and he has been efficient. I'm not sure I'm ready to be on the we must get Cole Anthony train yet. Max Hoover, what's going on, Max? I don't care how shorthanded they were. Always love to beat Philly. Me too. 2 in a row after we lost 15 straight. So shout out to that. They worship Rocky like he's a real dude. And I've seen them boo Santa Claus. Great comment. Appreciate you, Max. Hope all is well, my man. Jeremy Chase. I want nothing more than a Knicks championship. But am I crazy for being content with Knicks competence 2 years removed from 20 years of dog shit? No, not at all. And we should point out that for as much as this has been a frustrating year, and that's why, I really shouldn't come on here and snap, because we really did build up this season. And I still, the day I think the season started, I think I sent out a poll to Twitter, and a couple thousand people responded. And I was like, do you think this team is going to win 50 or more games? I think I said 46 to 49, 42 to 45, or 41 or less. And I think half the people said 50 wins. Now, I don't know that I ever was quite on that train. I thought they would be better. And I thought they would have about the same winning percentage as last year. Obviously, more games this season. And this year has been a letdown, which is why I wanted to say what I wanted to say at the beginning of the live stream. But they are competent. They are competently coached. They are competently run. They, with some obvious quibbles here and there, they execute for the most part. They go out and the effort hasn't been what we got used to last year, but that was a supernatural thing. On the whole, like, they go out and they give us a brand of basketball that you can be proud of most nights. They got good, they are competent. They are absolutely a competent team. And look, maybe that joy runs out, but I'm with you, Jeremy. I'm happy with competence. Jeremy E, I think you're a little too hard on RJ. I'm always too hard on RJ. Other than this game and yesterday's, he's been their best player. Think you could be harder on Julius's ISOs? Yeah, no, for sure. I look, Julius's ISOs would drive me crazy. That's why I said I was going to come on here and berate him, because I thought it really was his worst performance through 2.5, 3 quarters. Because that stuff really does take the Knicks out of their offense. And even when RJ is not hitting shots, the one thing that you have to say about RJ this year is all of his shots have come within the flow of the offense. And I feel like a broken record. I feel like I pointed this out several times. Last year, there were still a lot of possessions where RJ would take shots that were just bad shots. They were ugly shots. They were shots that you knew they weren't going in, and he has virtually eliminated those shots from his diet. That's why I'm not bothered by RJ at all. I'm not upset with RJ at all. I'm just pointing out that RJ had 2 bad games in a row. At this point, 11 games in, who do I think has been their best player, RJ or Julius? Probably RJ. I still think Julius Randle is the better player right now at this stage of his career. But I think RJ has been the better player of the 2 through 11 games, despite the last 2 games. And I've certainly enjoyed watching RJ Barrett a hell of a lot more than I've enjoyed watching Julius Randle. So yeah, that's a good comment. Good call by you, Jeremy. Aussie Knicks fan, thank you for your contribution. We appreciate you. Kevin Danishevsky, good win, and so happy to be 7-4. I'd much rather be 8-3. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Melo Randle comparison a lot. Yeah, I mean it's obvious at this point. Except I think Randle's never going to be the scorer that Melo was. There aren't 10 guys in league history that were the scorer Melo was. But I do think as a playmaker, he has a chance to be higher, and I think he's already shown that. Burks was out there way too long. As I've said, the fit's not there this year. You know what? I'm going to disagree with that vehemently. I think Alec Burks made the play of the game. They were what was the score? I'll look it up right now. Alec Burks it was in the 4th quarter, I think, when Alex Burks got his hand on an offensive rebound and he tapped it back out and the ball went over quickly and quickly made a 3. And it was a massive momentum 3 at the time. I mean, Burks' stat line, he had 5 points. He was 1 of 5 from deep, 2 of 7 from the field. He's obviously not shooting it very well. He's not gonna, make you, crazy about his defense. His defense is fine, but I think Alec Burks is a guy who, I said it all last year and I'll say it again. He's a guy who's usually going to make the right play. And I don't feel like he ever makes the wrong play. And I like his process. I like how he goes about playing the game. I know we all want to see more Grimes and whatever, but there's a reason that Tibbs trusts Alec Burks. And that's because Alec Burks proved a lot to Tibbs last season, and he proved a lot to us last season, even though it seems like many people forgot. Alec Burks was a big part of a lot of wins last year. So, throw that by the wayside. See, that's the thing. And I guess that's why I get a little bit bothered when people are critiquing Tibbs and the rotations and whatnot. Tom Thibodeau can't make rotation decisions and minutes decisions based on a game or 5 games, or honestly, even the 11 games or 10 games, whatever, of this season. Like, he has to consider the body of evidence. And I think if you had a coach who was more willing to dismiss what guys did before the year started. Like, guys aren't going to want to play for that coach, because if a guy starts off and he gets off to a rough, shooting slump, and he's a guy who's been in the league for several years, and he has to start wondering, well, shit, I'm only shooting 41% overall and like 34% from deep. And like, I had that bad turnover that last game because I'm not like playing my best right now. But is the coach going to bench me because I've had this rough, 10-game stretch? And like, nobody wants to think that. And like, the reason why I've said this, and I don't know this to be true for a fact, but it's what I assume. I think the reason Thibodeau gets buy-in from his guys is because guys, like, not everybody's going to sell out for every coach. And guys sell out for Tom Thibodeau. There's a reason guys like Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson will, fire him or follow him into the fiery pits of hell. So yeah, I'm gonna push back on anybody who's like, we went with this guy too long because he's been, he hasn't been playing well of late. Like, I think what Tibbs has shown us is that he's really good at identifying if someone's really hot, if someone really has it going, and it's happened with quickly the last 2 nights. He's going to leave him in until, it starts to wear off. I think Tibbs goes with the hot hand more than we realize, or more than we'd like to admit. But, oh, look, what do I know? I'm some asshole sitting here talking in front of my computer. So everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? Anthony Sixto, crazy idea. Until 30 games, this is mostly time to tinker and feel things out. It's very fair. Knicks didn't hit their potential until after the Rose trade last year. Very true. I've said I want to wait till at least the 16-game mark, and really probably 20, 30 games is a better point. Dom Cappuccini, maybe a sign the 3-point defense is back. We'll see. I thought it was better. It was not great tonight. Hopefully Noel is good to go for Wednesday. Yeah, I don't want to live in a world where Nerlens Noel is not doing his thing, because Nerlens only played the first half, and he was excellent. In his 12 minutes, played whatever. I don't even care what he scored. He scored 6 points, got 2 rebounds, didn't record a block or a steal, but I really like how he's moving around on defense. Been very impressed with that. So, yeah, I hope so. Warming up before the second half is encouraging. Yes, I completely agree with that. What else we got here? Man, we got super chats on fire today. Warzone Chronicles. I'll see you in the playoffs where we flame out again because Tibbs is incapable of moving off his inscrutable rotations. Obi wasn't on Taj. Taj shrug. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Yeah, I mean, look, Tibbs has never gone farther than he's supposed to go in the playoffs. Actually, that's not true. He did once when they beat the Nets, when the Bulls beat the Nets with an undermanned Bulls team. What I do know is that he's never like flamed out in the playoffs before he should have, or at least based on what the talent dictated. And by the way, Tibbs did move off of his rotations in the playoffs last year. He did it twice. He benched Peyton and he started Rose. And he went with Obi and Julius at small ball. And when things, granted, it was a little bit desperate, but he tried to pull that out. It didn't really work. Honestly, the Rose thing didn't really work either. As a coach, you're going to be, I mean, Jeff Van Gundy said it to me on this podcast. He's been saying it to anyone willing to listen for 30 years. You, as a coach, you're as good as your talent. And, people can yell and scream, and there are some truly horrendous coaches, and there are some truly gifted coaches. But most everybody else, you do the most with the talent that you have. And I think the fact that Tibbs has the reputation he has around the league means that he kind of knows what he's doing. Forgotten NYC. Do you think there could be a trade to be made? Obviously, foolish, especially 11 games in, but I feel like this team just needs a little extra space. No, I don't think there's an obvious trade right now. That I could think of, like, what do they need? They need they need the Kemba Walker from 3 years ago. That would be nice, but that guy's not really out there. So I don't see an obvious trade right now. I want to see these guys have time to play. PKNY in Switzerland on a business trip watching at 3:30 a.m. Shout out to you. And have an early morning meeting. God bless you, man. We are all crazy. LOL. 7-4 is 7-4. Rather win an ugly ass game than lose. Me and you both. Shout out to Switzerland. I hope the meeting goes well. EJS. Thanks for being a voice of reason. I don't know if I'm the voice of anything right now because I am about to lose my voice yet again. Too much negativity in the fan base. 7-4, 50% of our potential is a dream considering where we were 3 years ago. And look, that's the other part of it, and it's kind of old hat to say this now, but like all the confidence and like the fact that we're getting on here and bitching and moaning about a win and we're 7-4 and it's not good enough and this rotation and that rotation. Yeah, the reason we're on here talking about that and not me sitting on here talking about, Jonathan Wasserman's top 50 draft board that came out today and who we're looking forward to in the draft fucking 8 months from now. The reason is Tom Thibodeau, because he came in here and he cleaned shit up. So Tom Thibodeau may not be perfect, and I may be apologizing for him way too much. But none of this shit is possible without Tom Thibodeau. So just, remember who you're talking about. Harry Donart. I love when Harry chimes in because it's going to be going. Everyone is too down on this team. We're 7-4 with some truly quality wins. Completely agree. Is it perfect? No. But I see some positive regression coming on the 3-pointers, and Tibbs will get the defense clicking. Completely agree. I can't say it better than you just said it, so I'm just going to let that comment stand on its own. Thank you, Harry. Neville Humphreys. You can not only hold certain players accountable and let other players do whatever they damn well want, period, point blank. I'm assuming this is a reference to Randle. I mean, I don't know how to respond. I mean, my gut response is to say, look around the league and go find me a star player who doesn't take it easy on defense occasionally. And then go look at all those coaches. Greg Popovich is considered the greatest coach of the last 30 years because he had a guy who refused to take any playoff ever. And his name was Tim Duncan. And Tim Duncan set the tone for that organization for 20 years. And that is why that organization won 5 world championships over that time. Tim Duncan is also a top 10 player of all time. And guys like that are few and far between. Most best players, guys who are not top 10, top 15, top 20 all-time type guys, are guys that do, if they are the star, quote-unquote, star of their team, they do pick and choose where they're going to give max effort on defense. Do I like it? No. Do I think it's okay? No. Do I think Julius Randle, and this is what I wrote about today. I wrote these very words today. Randle needs to lean on his teammates more, and then so he could give more effort on defense. I wrote that. That being said, to expect Tom Thibodeau to like when Randle like doesn't get up on a 3-point shooter or misses a rotation or something, to pull him and sit him on the bench, like that's not how the league works. It's not how the league should work. You need your best players out there, and hopefully your best players do try more often than not on D. And I do think Julius Randle tries more often than not on D. And I think he's been okay on the whole. It's just the reality of the situation, is what it is. Emad Khalil. We are a team in progress. We have to work Kemba and Evan into the offense. That's been my biggest bugaboo on the offense is that. I'd like to see those guys worked in more. Not to say that those guys have not had their moments, but in terms of, rising tide lifts all ships, holes greater than some of its parts. That's, I don't think, what we've seen yet. We'll know in January. But I fear we are missing a player. Need a trade for ? Yeah, again, I don't know who that player is today. Maybe that will reveal itself. I'd like to see this group play for a while before I call for a trade. D Black, the obvious trade is to swap out missed threes for made threes and bad defense for good defense. Yeah, it's pretty good. Last thing, I feel like I opened by saying we're going to talk about Obi Toppin, and I feel like I haven't talked about Obi Toppin. So Obi Toppin, again, played 9 minutes. I read you the thing that I was texted earlier today about that he missed something. Here's the thing about Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, when he does good things, they pop. And it's just like you want to see so much more of it because you believe that if Obi Toppin got 39 minutes instead of 9 minutes, he'd be putting up 20 a game and 10 rebounds and all of that stuff. I think on offense, the finishes are amazing. He's not the playmaker that Randle is, obviously, and he's not the three-point shooter that Randle is right now. And I think Obi's inability to hit a three right now actually does – that has to be a slight consideration. I do believe in the three long term. But there is – you love when he's out there because what he opens up on the fast break. And, yeah, there are absolutely games like the first three quarters of this game where I was like, give me Obi instead of Randle because I don't need to see this ISO bullshit. On defense – Obi still has a little bit of ways to go, and I was probably a little bit overly exuberant earlier in the year when I said, like, Obi Toppin's a good defender. I don't know if he's a good defender yet. He has good defensive moments, and he's not a bad defender anymore. He was a bad defender when he came into the league. But he's still, he needs to work on stuff like boxing out and rebounding and all that, all the little nitty gritty stuff. And like, I wish I could sit here and be like, oh, I see all these little things that Tibbs sees. I tend to be a more trusting person. I trust that whatever Tibbs is seeing, where he does not fully trust Obi Toppin to play more minutes, and I do believe that he does not fully trust Obi Toppin to play more minutes right now. I believe that whatever he's seeing is like, legit. He's not making stuff up in his head. Maybe he's being harder on the kid. I certainly think he's being hard on the kid, but I also think he wouldn't be hard on the kid if he didn't believe in the kid. And Toppin wouldn't be getting any minutes if he didn't believe in him. So I'm not going crazy about the Toppin minutes. Not right now. More good stuff is going to be there to come for Obi. The last thing I'll say, and like I was texting about this in our text chain earlier today. I do think Obi has done enough already this year to probably raise eyebrows around the league. So a few people have already asked about a hypothetical trade to like make this team better. Like if you're asking me my objective, like take my fandom out of it and like take the fact that I want to see Obi Toppin play here for the next 10 years out of it. The objective trade is you package Obi and like, whatever picks and salary. And then you bring back whoever you're going to bring back because you should be able to get something for him, something pretty good. That said, I don't want to give him up. I don't think we've seen nearly the best from Obi. But at the same time, when are we going to see the best from Obi as long as Julius Randle is here? That is certainly an issue that this team has and the front office has to deal with moving forward. It's a good problem to have. Crazy things happen in the NBA. We'll see how it gets resolved, but that's a topic for another day. For right now, I just want to say thanks to everybody who came into the super chat. We got one more. Lewis Middens. I felt as if they missed a bunch of Obi pick and roll opportunities. They've been missing that all year. Very good comment. I completely agree that they need to utilize that more. His athleticism is unmatched and should get the stat treatment when he's out there. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think they could use him better. And that's on Tibbs. That's on the other players on the floor. But also teams are looking out for that. So just because they get into a pick and roll doesn't mean necessarily that the opportunity is there to finish the pick and roll successfully. We saw them attempt, I think, some lobs in the last game to Obi, or at least one that comes to mind, that they weren't able to convert. Okay. That's all I got. Thanks everybody for watching. If you're checking this out tomorrow morning on the good old podcast feed, feel free to leave us a 5-star rating, write a review, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Dropping a podcast on Wednesday. I am talking to someone. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but someone about the upcoming Bucks game. We're going to talk about the defending world champ, and then we got someone coming up later in the week. Talk a little about the Hornets. Those are the Knicks, of course, next two opponents, Milwaukee and Charlotte. So we'll see what happens. I'm feeling a lot better about the prospects of this week after this win. If they could get one of these next two games, I will sign for it right now. I'm telling you that out front. All right. Enjoy, guys. 7-4.